Okay, I think it's been a decent amount of time for ads to decide to roll and go away for a little bit. Welcome everyone to the Daytona 250, the start of Season 9 for VRC. It is a little bit of an early start, but I'll get into why we're starting a bit earlier in a second. But first, I want to introduce a new person I'm working with for today, Mr. Brandon Schwick.
Schick.
Schick.
Good to
That's
good to
very
be in
close
here.
to a very good, very close to a word that hopefully I don't mispronounce.
All good. I think it's Jeffrey consistently calls it chic even after telling him how it's pronounced repeatedly.
Oh, I might just stick to first name. We don't have to worry about the mispronunciation.
That
At least
works
it's not
too.
two Brandons.
That works
There
too.
wouldn't be two Brandons. Okay, well, the reason why we're starting a little bit early is we have a couple planned, I guess we'll call activities, before our green flag. Well, obviously we'll be going through our national anthem and all stuff for them. I don't necessarily know if I can broadcast that through Discord because it's streaming through Xbox right now. So I can't guarantee that might not be heard. But we will still observe silence while that's going through at least. We also will have a moment of silence for the Hurricane Ian victims in Florida. That will be coming up very shortly as well. But first, before we get to that, we do a little thing here where we pick a driver, especially on super speedways. We mainly pick it out of a hat at this point, and decide. And that's this person you think that's going to win the race. Considering you're the guest for this week, what you pick first, you can pick anyone you think that might win out of the top 27 that's racing. I think it's 27. Yeah, 27. Because we added, yeah. If he's here. I don't know if he's here.
Sorry, I was going through some technical difficulties here getting a mic set up.
Okay, you're good. I don't know if you heard what I was saying a second ago. So we have this little weekly pick that we try to pick who's going to win the race. Since you're the guest for today, I'll let you pick first. You can pick any of the 27 that you think will win. I mean, might as well just pick it out of a hat at this point.
Oh, I'm not. I've been out of OMA for a little bit here, so I'm maybe a bit behind on my picks. But I gotta go. I think he's racing Tim. Gotta go with him.
Mr. Tim Moore.
You can never count him out. From what I've known, he's just dominated in a lot of events. And yeah, I just don't think you can ever count him out.
I mean, yeah, you definitely cannot count out Tim Moore. It's even more, we can't count him out considering him and Drew are now teammates for this season. So combine that willpower together and
yeah,
get even more
second
willpower.
most all-time wins. Yeah, going with him.
Very strong pick indeed. Obviously, the other pick would probably be Drew Jua, but I try to stay, at least on super speedways, I try to pick maybe a smaller name.
And it's the joys of super speedways is that they can just toss in wrenches to everything, right? And I just love them. You never know.
I mean, we saw last night in the VNS series, someone that came in to sub for someone like 4 hours before the race ended up winning the race. I mean, it's just very unpredictable.
Oh, it's incredibly unpredictable. I think my first ever race in the OMA was extra, and Talladega, I believe it was, and I came second. First ever time racing in NASCAR, so it just throws everything for a loop.
That it does. That it does. I think I figured out who I'm gonna pick. It's not. I'm gonna try to stay away from some of the bigger names. This one's a big name, but he's. I mean, he's sort of forgot about every now and then. I'm gonna go with Mr. Kukulon.
Ooh.
He retired from full-time racing. He's here to make a couple part-time starts. We know he can win. He's in the 21 car starting force. I mean, he even did very good in the VNS series last night until stuff went horribly wrong at the very end. But he's driving for McGuinness Motorsports this season, part-time, and I think he ends up winning the 250.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I've raced a lot with him in F1. Very quick driver. Top 5, top 10 in almost every statistical category we've got. But yeah, taking a bit of time off, allowing some other drivers to step up to the plate as it is.
And that's just 2 to 27 that's racing. Like I said, any 27 have probably an equal chance to win at Daytona. It's all draft related here. You just gotta stay in the draft, make the right move at the right time, and you're up there.
Yeah, it's very easy to make up places, but at that same point, it is very easy to lose them. As you said, it's draft. The minute you lose that draft, you've just got to wait for a yellow.
Well, speaking of yellows, luckily, if you have never watched a broadcast of any of the OMA races, they do have a halfway stage, and they have manual cautions as well. So we could get a caution before lap 50, but we're guaranteed one at the start of lap 50 regardless. But anything else would be 3 cars, unless it's the first lap of restart, then it'll be half the field. And then anything for that is manual caution, pits open, double file, leader goes in the restart zone, and we go from there. It resets. Let's see, for our last couple minutes before we observe the silence for Hurricane Ian victims, let's see here. Trying to think what we can get through. Like I said, there's 27 different cars. I believe that's about like represented by 5 or 6 different teams. Dark Horse Racing, we have OCM Racing that was rebranded from Spooky Dookie. Ohio River Racing, we have McGuinness Motorsports, No U Motorsports, Gavin Hudspeth Racing. I think that's it. I believe it's 6 different teams.
Yeah, six different teams there. Let's
6 different teams. OCM is a Chevy, McGuinness is Ford, Dark Horse is Ford, Ohio River Racing is Chevy, and No U and Gavin Hudspeth Racing are both Toyotas.
part of me's hoping for a good run from the Fords today. I had every all two of my or 2 or 3 of my OMA series wins have come in. What was that? That's McGuinness cars or trucks, I guess. So hoping for some Fords, but like you were saying, it's just all over the place with 27 cars in the fight for the win.
Indeed it is, but right now it is 7:55, so we will go ahead and observe a couple minutes silence for Hurricane Ian victims, and hopefully everyone can recover very well from all of that. And again, hopefully everything will turn out very good for them soon down there in Florida. And everyone else that's even still being impacted, and I believe the Carolinas as well. But right now, I believe the drivers are going through the last of the driver intros, and we'll be getting the national anthem after that. Let's say we go over points, but there's no points to go over here. I mean, anything noteworthy from last season is the title battle between Drew and Tim. Drew did end up one-upping Tim in that battle. They're again teammates for this season, and probably still end up being the same battle.
It's going to be really interesting getting two top drivers in the same team fighting probably, like you're saying, all season long for the championship.
And believe it or not, that only happened because of the fact that McGuinness Motorsports, owned by Mr. Eddie Koegi, who will be racing tonight and probably be joining us as a race reporter later, end up signing Tyra Glass and Brandon Schulenberger. And that's what started all of this as well.
Gotta love silly seasons. Drivers moving all over the place. From what I understand, there's quite a bit of movement between the last season and this one.
Indeed it is, and we are actually joined now by another broadcaster and the guy who made the Daytona 500 graphic lineup, or Daytona 250 graphic lineup, Mr. Fisher G himself. I don't think he has a mic connected yet. We'll move on. We'll get back to him here in a second. We'll save the lineup for when we're getting close to rolling here. But, I mean, everyone knows what Daytona is, obviously. But for the people that may have never raced this game, and maybe have never watched it, what's Daytona like? Like, you know, the banking, this goes on a flat straightaway, but like from a driver standpoint, like, what does it feel like to drive at Daytona?
It's one of the most boring races that you can do, but it is also one of the most mentally taxing races that you can do. Qualifying, like right from then, it's maybe a tenth and a half separating P1 from P27. So you've got to be mentally on it every single lap of every single, yeah, I guess every lap, every corner you do. And hitting the apron just once can mess you up and drop you tons of positions. So mentally very taxing.
And this track's all about being in the right spot at the right time. Let's say you're just minding your own business about maybe middle lane of 3 wide. About maybe like fighting for like 7th race. I mean, you're in a perfectly good spot with maybe like 20 to go. That's fine to be in with 20 to go, but let's say the guy below you hits the apron. He's going to get into you, you're going to get into the guy above you, and then it's just going to cause calamity. I mean, it might have not been your doing, but it's just all about being in the right spot at the right time.
It really is. Yeah, all it takes is one guy on the apron and you lose draft, you get hit, you know, if somebody doesn't necessarily see you and they come down to block, there's so many different situations that can happen, and at full speed, you're never gonna come out of it nicely.
While they're still going through driver intros, I believe it's taking a bit longer than I thought it would. But they do have another series that they run. They run the IFC. Yeah,
Yeah.
IFC, International Formula Championship. I couldn't think of the actual like what it stood
What
for.
it stands for. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
their relatively new series. Second season. You got your pick, Sebastian Coulon, as your defending champ in that. So not only is he a top tier NASCAR driver, but good in open wheel racing as well.
Yeah, and we have some big names, like I mentioned, Sebastian Coulon. He retired from full-time Heat, but he's over on F1 racing basically week to week and almost winning every week to week. Jarrett Talmadge is over there. Keith Reimer. Nicholas Jabari's from AlphaTauri, with also Sam Morasco. They've teamed up at AlphaTauri this season. And all that, you can follow OMA We Got Twitter, and that's usually where they post a lot of updates for that. And you can also follow that for Heat 5 updates, as well as Instagram, as well as I believe it's the same handle.
Yeah, that's a good series to race in. I know I raced a lot with Sebastian, Talmadge, and quite a few of the guys from OMA. And it's competitive. Really nice, good competitive. Good to see them doing good.
As we assist Gundawabi is up, so it probably should be about 3 to 5 minutes, hopefully, on that. At most, probably about looking at maybe 8-10. Let's see. Yeah. So let's just go over the past Daytona winners. There's, I believe, I think there's four defending winners in the field. Sebastian Coulon, who won season one, the original, like, the opening season of OMA.
All that
Luca
time ago.
Mazzilli Jr. won season four. He had to get a new Xbox twice today to end up racing. Chad Eastman is season 6, who's now a VRC full time. And then last season was Casey Masser, who ended up getting Bryce Ward's old team, turning into No U Motorsports, and yeah, now Toyota and all that.
Yeah, I think those were the VNS winners.
Venus? Yeah, it was Venus.
Yeah, those aren't the VRC winners, but yeah, they still have one here though.
Still defending winners in the field. There it is. I didn't scroll up far
Yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
I think
We
Tim's the
have
only. Tim
two.
and Vinny. No, three actually. Tim, Vinny, and Ben.
Oh yeah, Benson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all from season 5 to season 8 winners are in the field for the VRC side. Season 5 was Vincenzo Wacavazzi, who was originally on about a couple season break. He has finally came back, and he's running, I believe, VRC and VNS this season. He's doing double duty on that. Tim Moore, the only two-time Daytona 250 winner in the field. Aiden's also won it 2 times, but he is not in the field. And then Ben Smith won season 7, and then Tim with season 8.
So are we going to get
I
a new
mean,
winner here, or is Tim going to be the first 3-time Daytona 250 winner?
I mean, early favorite obviously would be Tim Moore, but like I said, it's Daytona. It's very hard to pick a favorite.
He is very
It,
deep in the field as well.
Yeah, I believe
yeah,
it's from like
sometimes
19th,
that doesn't
Yeah, 18th, 19th.
matter at all.
17th. Yeah.
Yeah.
All it takes is one incident, and all of a sudden Tim's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Or, on the
I can see.
contrary, all it takes is one incident, and Tim's a half a lap down. So, anything can happen here.
And we're also going to see if we can get any more photo finishes. We actually added 2 already this season. We had one from the Clash, where Casey Master ended up, I believe, over Landon Lyle, if I'm not mistaken, for the Clash. And then last night we had Hunter East over Drew Jula, and that was also a photo finish, I believe, at 0.022, I believe, somewhere in there. It's not exact. It's not on this sheet, but it's somewhere in that area.
Those are some close finishes. Hopefully, we get a really good race tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of the past 250s do end up with really close finishes. Specifically, I remember season 5 back when Vinny won it, like I think one of the closer finishes in OMA history. So I definitely think the trend could continue with close finishes.
That's also just the benefit of super speedway racing is
Yeah.
that you're never pulling out a second or 2 gap. It's always bumper to bumper finishes and racing and finish line passes for the wins.
Yeah.
And if you pull out the 1 or 2 second gap, there's going to be a very fast pack of cars approaching you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost in your best interest to not actually pull that gap and just get pushed along by the rest of the train.
Yeah.
We should be good about the next 2 minutes here. And when we start voting in, we'll go down our starting lineup for the 250. We have 27 tonight. Was originally 26.